I mean, kind of talk in the same breath when we're talking about these high side hustles. I know my next effort outside of this reselling is going to be. I say we talk. I'm going to talk a little bit about this real estate, and then we can finish with our content. But I
Show.
think the next side hustle that I'm really excited to get into is my first rental property.
Yeah.
So kind of been looking at options and running numbers and just kind of figure out what's going to be the best investment for my family, and that's my next side hustle slash semi passive income
Yeah.
that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Man, I can't wait. And so
Dude.
starting to be able to merge some of these different efforts, and it might be a little bit here and a little bit there, but together and 100% I look at it as my side hustles are to be 100% reinvested at all times
Yeah.
and just continuously being
Let it
100%
grow.
reinvested.
Let it grow. No, for sure. No, I'm excited for you, bro. Getting into rental property, having renters in there, getting that mailbox money, boy. And off of our last podcast, we were talking about how you would invest a certain amount of money. Both the top of our list was real estate. So I'm on the same page with you. I'm hoping around the same time frame you're looking at it because real estate is an investment vehicle that I want to get into. So I'm working toward trying to get enough capital up to be able to get into something. But yeah, that's going to be an amazing feeling right there, dude.
Man.
Again, we're talking about the semi-passive or the active passive. Again, I don't know where I got that from, but
Yeah.
um, the work that you're doing right now to prepare yourself for that, I think that's going to pale in comparison to the payoff that you get where you just kick back chilling and you got somebody sending you checks every month.
Yeah, and not to be an economist here, because I definitely ain't no didn't go to school for that. I didn't learn the textbook economist ways. But for
I
me,
can't even
it
spell it.
seems like yeah, look, spell that thing. To me, it's a good hedge on this inflation that we're dealing with, right? So last time I checked, we're dealing with almost 7% inflation in this country. So sitting money into a savings account right now is not the most ideal way for me. And now looking at it. So um, when things are inflated, um, rent goes up. Just like home prices go up. So it's not so much the month to month money that I'll be making on potentially on a rental property that I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to is that consistent growth. As if you look at any charts with mortgage rates or not mortgage rates but mortgage values, they tend to track up just like
Yeah,
the S&P 500. Over
sure.
time they tend to track up. So it's a great long term investment for me and my family. How I'm looking at it,
Yeah,
and based on the data that I'm looking towards. And I mean, my kind of the things that help me kind of soothe my mind when it comes to taking that leap and putting money into a place solely for somebody else to live in, for me to create some passive income is like, well, worst case scenario, we have another mortgage crash like 2007, 2008,
right.
and home values drop considerably. To me, that it may take a hit on your net worth or your ego, whatever the case may be when it comes to money,
Yeah,
but folks still need places to live.
I always
Still
will.
rent just because the value dropped considerably. That don't mean the rentability dropped. So that for me and with me coming into it, it's not no. I'm not trying to buy it, fix it up, and flip it. So
Mhm.
it's not like the day to day, kind of like a stock portfolio. The day to day value of it doesn't really matter much to me. It's
Yeah,
the long term trajectory, the long term trends that I'm looking forward to. It's something that I'm trying to 35 years old now. That's something I'm trying to reap the benefits off of when I'm 65 potentially,
right. Yeah,
or even maybe someday my kids can reap the benefits off of this same address. And so for me, I'm not really caring or concerned with, I guess, the day to day values
yeah,
or value of the property. More so, just the fact that it can stay occupied with a tenant and
yeah,
continue to pay my mortgage or provide me some type of revenue.
yeah. It's crazy. And to your point, it's like where you get your comfort from when it comes to investing in real estate. The example that you just gave, 35 right now, you want to still be eating off that when you're 65. Like, what do you think and you don't have to talk about the area that you're looking at or anything like that as far as real estate investment, but You think 30 years ago what the housing market value was? Just go off of that data alone.
Right.
I mean, that gives
And
you
so,
somewhere to saying long term
yeah.
that this is going to be a good investment.
And to your point, some of the homes I'm looking at are well over 30 years. They still standing.
Yeah,
And the what the people bought it for 30 years ago, pennies. Because obviously
right.
some Zillow and Redfin and some of these different sources, you can kind of look at some of those previous sales prices. I'm like, man, they
Yeah,
eat. They ate. I mean, look at
absolutely.
what values have done in the last decade.
Yeah.
Look at the values have done since the pandemic started.
Yeah, I was gonna say in the last few years,
Yeah,
unreal.
man, it's
So yeah, I think that's important, when you talk about where you find your comfort from, doing your research so you are comfortable going into whatever vehicle you're going to invest in. I know we're kind of talking about some of the things we did in our last podcast, but I think that's really important though. And then the other thing, tying it into what we're talking about now, as far as the overall goal that we're trying to bring to this podcast or to just, how we operate in life is financial peace, not having to worry about money ever again. And from what I've seen in my research, people that have made an extremely high net worth, they have multiple streams of income. So that's where the reselling piece of it comes into. That's where the real estate investment can come into to add to your portfolio.